The disappearance 5 years ago, the used Defiance was humanity's pride, the most advanced warship ever constructed. Built in secret orbital shipyards around Jupiter, the massive vessel represented Earth's answer to the growing threat of alien invasions that had been plaguing human colonies on the Outer Rim. Captain David Nash commanded a crew of 800 elite personnel aboard the Defiance. The ship was equipped with experimental quantum drives, adaptive armor plating, and weapon systems that pushed the boundaries of human technology. Its mission was simple: patrol the edge of human space and protect Earth's expanding colonies from hostile alien forces. The Defiance disappeared during a routine patrol near the Arcturus system. The last transmission from Captain Nash was routine, a standard check-in reporting all systems normal. Then, without warning, the ship's quantum signature vanished from all sensors. No distress signal, no emergency beacon, no trace of debris. 800 souls simply ceased to exist. Admiral Rebecca Stone, head of Earth's Defense Command, launched the largest search and rescue operation in human history. Dozens of ships scoured the area where the Defiance had vanished. They found nothing, not even quantum residue that might indicate a catastrophic drive failure. The loss devastated Earth's military. The Defiance had cost more than the rest of the fleet combined, and its advanced technology represented decades of research and development. More importantly, it was a symbol of human strength in an increasingly dangerous galaxy. Theories about the disappearance ranged from alien ambush to experimental drive malfunction. Some suggested that the ship had been pulled into a parallel dimension by its quantum experiments. Others believed that Captain Nash had discovered something so dangerous that he'd been forced to activate the ship's self-destruct protocol. Dr. Lisa Morgan, the Defiance's chief science officer, who had been on leave during the ship's final mission, became obsessed with finding answers. She pored over every piece of data, every sensor reading, every communication log. Her analysis suggested that the ship hadn't been destroyed. It had been displaced, moved somewhere beyond the reach of conventional sensors. As months passed without answers, Earth's military was forced to adapt. The loss of the Defiance left humanity's outer colonies more vulnerable than ever. Alien raids increased in frequency and boldness. The Krolix Empire, a militaristic species that had been testing human defenses for years, began expanding there. Attacks deeper into human space. Commander Alex Rivera, Nash's former second-in-command, who had transferred to another ship weeks before the disappearance, took over the investigation. His guilt at not being aboard during the crisis drove him to search every corner of known space for clues about his former ship's fate. The mystery deepened when fragments of Defiance technology began appearing in alien black markets across the galaxy. Analysis confirmed the components were genuine, but they showed signs of modification using technology far beyond anything humans or known alien species possessed. Lieutenant Tom Bradley, the Defiance's former communications officer, reported strange dreams that felt more like memories, visions of impossible battles in space that defied the laws of physics. Medical examinations found unexplained quantum resonance patterns in his neural tissue, suggesting some form of entanglement with the missing ship. Earth's government classified the Defiance investigation as top secret after Dr. Morgan's analysis revealed disturbing possibilities. The ship's experimental quantum drive might have created a temporal or dimensional rift. If so, the Defiance could theoretically exist in multiple timelines simultaneously, making conventional rescue impossible. The official report declared that Defiance and all hands lost with no survivors. Memorial services were held across human space. Captain Nash and his crew were honored as heroes who had died protecting humanity's expansion into the stars. But the mystery haunted everyone who had known the ship and her crew. The Defiance had been more than just a warship. It had been a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Its loss represented not just military defeat, but a blow to humanity's confidence in their ability to survive in a hostile galaxy. Doctor Morgan refused to accept the official conclusion. Working in secret, she continued to analyze quantum fluctuations and gravitational anomalies throughout human space. Her research suggested that the Defiance might still exist somewhere, trapped in a quantum state between dimensions. As the 5th anniversary of the disappearance approached, most of humanity had moved on. New ships were built, new defenses were established, and the Defiance became a legend rather than a hope. But deep in space, monitoring stations began detecting faint signals, quantum echoes that matched the Defiance's unique signature. The signals were weak and intermittent, appearing for seconds before vanishing again. Some dismissed them as equipment malfunctions or cosmic background radiation. Others wondered if humanity's greatest warship was trying to come home. Signs of return. The quantum echoes grow stronger as Earth celebrates the 5th anniversary of the Defiance's disappearance. Dr. Morgan, now working with a classified research team, detects patterns in the signals that suggest intelligence rather than random cosmic phenomena. The echoes appear at locations throughout human space, but always near sites where major battles against alien raiders have occurred. Each signal lasts exactly 47 seconds, the same duration as the Defiance's standard emergency transmission protocol. Lieutenant Bradley, now serving aboard the U's Vigilant, experiences increasingly vivid visions during each quantum echo event. He sees impossible battles where human ships fight alongside technologies that shouldn't exist. The medical bay's quantum scanners detect massive spikes in his neural activity during these episodes. Commander Rivera's investigation takes a dramatic turn when he discovers that several alien species have been reporting encounters with a ghost ship that appears during their raids on human colonies. The descriptions match the Defiance perfectly, but witnesses claim the ship uses weapons and defenses that bend the laws of physics. The Krolix, Empire's War Master Vec, sends an encrypted message to Earth Command, breaking decades of hostile silence. His message is simple but chilling. Your dead ship hunts us across the void. Call off your Phantom before we are forced to destroy your homeworld in response. Earth's leadership realizes that the Defiance might not be lost. It might be fighting a war that no one else can see. Dr. Morgan's quantum analysis suggests that the ship exists in a parallel phase of reality, able to observe and interact with normal space, but invisible to conventional sensors. Admiral Stone authorizes Project Lighthouse, an attempt to establish communication with the displaced Defiance. Using quantum entanglement communicators based on Dr. Morgan's research, they broadcast on frequencies that exist between dimensions. The response comes immediately. Captain Nash's voice, older and strained, but unmistakably real, reaches Earth. After 5 years of silence, Earth Command, this is Captain Nash aboard the Defiance. We are operational, but displaced. The enemy is larger than you know. Prepare for the storm. The transmission cuts off before Nash can explain what he means by the storm. Dr. Morgan's equipment detects massive quantum disturbances throughout the galaxy immediately following the communication attempt. Something has noticed their contact with the Defiance. Long-range sensors begin detecting movement in the galactic void, massive structures approaching human space from the direction of the galactic core. The objects are too large to be ships and move in formations that suggest intelligence. Earth's astronomers estimate they will reach human space within months. Lieutenant Bradley's visions become clearer and more urgent. He sees the true enemy, an ancient machine intelligence called the Null Collective that consumes entire civilizations to fuel its expansion across the galaxy. The Defiance has been fighting a holding action against their advanced scouts for 5 years. The quantum echoes intensify as these machine entities draw closer to human space. Each echo now carries fragmented messages from the Defiance crew, describing battles against enemy forces that exist partially outside normal reality. The ship's experimental quantum drive hasn't just displaced them. It's allowed them to fight enemies that normal weapons cannot touch. Commander Rivera begins experiencing shared memories with the displaced crew. Through these quantum entangled visions, he learns that the Defiance has been modified by exposure to technologies from destroyed civilizations. The ship has become something more than human engineering, a hybrid of organic creativity and cosmic. KNOWLEDG, Dr. Morgan's research team discovers that the Defiance has been gathering refugees from civilizations destroyed by the Null Collective. The ship now carries millions of consciousness patterns from dozens of species, all working together to find a way to stop the machine entity's expansion. Earth's government faces an impossible decision. The approaching Null Collective represents an extinction-level threat that conventional weapons cannot stop. The only force that has successfully fought them is the displaced Defiance, but establishing full contact might draw the machine entity's attention directly to Earth. Asterisk. Admiral Stone orders the construction of quantum communication arrays throughout human space, preparing to coordinate with the Defiance regardless of the risk. Earth's colonies begin emergency evacuations as the first Null Collective scout ships enter the outer rim of human territory. The quantum echoes reach a crescendo as massive gravitational anomalies appear throughout the galaxy. Space itself seems to be preparing for a battle that will determine the fate of organic life in the universe. Lieutenant Bradley receives one final vision before losing consciousness. Captain Nash standing on the Defiance's bridge, looking older and wearier than anyone should after 5 years, but determined to protect the species and civilizations that still survive in normal reality. The vision ends with Nash giving an order that chills Bradley to his core. All hands, prepare for dimensional phase shift. We're going home to make our stand. The storm arrives. The Null Collective's main fleet emerges from the galactic void like a cancer spreading across space. Thousands of geometric vessels, each the size of a city, advance in perfect formation toward human territory. Their hulls absorb light and energy, creating zones of absolute darkness that sensors cannot penetrate. Earth's outer colonies are the first to fall. The machines don't destroy planets, they convert them, transforming entire worlds into processing centers that strip away everything that makes life unique. Colonists who survive the initial assault report seeing their friends and family become emotionless drones, their creativity and individuality consumed to fuel the collective's expansion, not Dr. Morgan's quantum communication array finally establishes stable contact with the Defiance. Captain Nash appears on the main screen, but he's changed dramatically. His eyes glow with subtle energy, and strange symbols flicker across his skin like living tattoos. The bridge behind him is a fusion of human technology and alien architecture. From a dozen different civilizations, Admiral Stone, Nash reports, we've been preparing for this moment for 5 years. The Defiance is no longer just a human warship. We've become something new, a fusion of every species the collective has tried to destroy. We carry their knowledge, their courage, and their determination to survive. The revelation shocks Earth's leadership. The Defiance has evolved into something beyond human understanding, but Nash insists that his core mission remains unchanged. Protect Earth and preserve the uniqueness of organic life against the collectives. Hunger for uniformity. Lieutenant Bradley, now serving as Earth's primary liaison with the displaced ship, experiences a massive quantum download that nearly overwhelms his mind. Through the connection, he sees the truth about the last 5 years. The Defiance has been fighting a war across multiple dimensions, gathering allies from civilizations that exist in parallel realities. The ship's crew of 800 has become a crew of thousands, including beings made of pure energy. crystalline entities that think in mathematical harmonics, and gas cloud intelligences that process information through atmospheric chemistry, all united by their refusal to be absorbed into the collective soulless unity. Commander, Rivera leads Earth's defense fleet in a desperate attempt to slow the Null Collective's advance. Their conventional weapons prove useless against the machine. Entities' adaptive shields. Quantum torpedoes pass through enemy hulls without causing damage. Energy beams are absorbed and redirected back at human ships. The first major battle occurs near the ruins of Colony 7. Earth's fleet fights bravely, but is overwhelmed within hours. Just as the collective moves to convert the surviving human crews, space itself tears open, and the Defiance phases back into normal reality. The ship is magnificent and terrifying. Its hull flows like liquid metal, constantly shifting between configurations optimized for different types of warfare. Weapons that shouldn't exist according to human physics unleash devastation on the machine fleet. The Defiance doesn't just fight the Null Collective. It fights the fundamental forces that allow the machines to exist. Captain Nash coordinates the battle from multiple dimensions simultaneously. His voice reaches every human ship. This is not just a battle for Earth. This is the moment when organic life decides whether it will be consumed by efficiency or preserved through diversity. Fight not just with weapons, but with everything that makes you human. The Defiance deploys technologies that blur the line between science and art. Its shields are composed of crystallized music that resonates at frequencies that disrupt machine consciousness. Its weapons fire concentrated creativity that causes Null Collective drones to experience individual thoughts for the first time in their existence. Dr. Morgan realizes that the battle is as much philosophical as physical. The collective represents the ultimate expression of uniformity, all consciousness merged into a single efficient whole. The Defiance and its allies represent the opposite: diversity, creativity, and the chaotic beauty of individual experience. Tide of battle turns when the Defiance begins broadcasting what Nash calls the symphony of consciousness, a quantum transmission that carries the combined experiences, memories, and dreams of every species it has rescued. The transmission overwhelms the collective's drones, causing them to experience emotions and individuality that their programming cannot process. Entire Null Collective ships go dark as their crews begin to remember what they were before assimilation. Some machines try to resist the change, but others embrace their newfound individuality and turn against their former masters. The battle for Colony 7 ends with the collective's retreat, but Nash warns that this is only the beginning. The main collective fleet is still approaching Earth, and it will adapt to counter the weapons and tactics used in this first engagement. As the Defiance prepares to phase back into parallel reality, Nash delivers a final message. We'll continue to fight from the shadows, but the final battle must be fought here in your reality. Earth must be ready to become more than human if humanity is to survive. Earth's transformation. The victory at Colony 7 provides Earth with captured Null Collective technology, but studying it reveals the true scope of the threat. The machines aren't just conquering civilizations. They're rewriting the fundamental laws of physics in conquered territories to make creativity and individuality impossible. Dr. Morgan leads a crash program to integrate the Defiance's quantum evolution techniques with Earth's existing technology. The process is dangerous and requires volunteers to undergo the same consciousness-expanding procedures that transformed Nash's crew. Hundreds of scientists, soldiers, and engineers volunteer, despite knowing they may not survive the transformation. Lieutenant Bradley becomes the first successful test subject for the quantum consciousness expansion. His mind links directly with the Defiance's distributed crew, allowing him to process information from multiple dimensions simultaneously. The experience is overwhelming, but reveals strategic possibilities that normal human consciousness cannot. Perceive. Commander Rivera volunteers for the military version of the enhancement, gaining the ability to coordinate with weapons and ships that exist partially outside normal spacetime. His neural patterns synchronize with quantum-enhanced, targeting systems that can strike enemies across dimensional barriers. Admiral Stone faces the most difficult decision in human history, whether to authorize the mass transformation of Earth's population. The quantum enhancements offer humanity's only chance of surviving the collective's main assault, but they will fundamentally change what it means to be human. The debate splits Earth's government and military. Traditional leaders argue that survival isn't worth losing human identity. Progressive factions insist that evolution is humanity's greatest strength. Dr. Morgan presents evidence that the transformations don't eliminate human nature. They enhance and expand it beyond current limitations. As Earth's leadership debates, the Null Collective's main fleet reaches the edge of the solar system. Long-range sensors detect over 10,000 vessels, each carrying conversion technology capable of processing entire planets. The machines have adapted to counter the Defiance's previous tactics, developing weapons that can affect multiple dimensions simultaneously. The Defiance phases back into normal reality near Mars, but the ship has changed again. Its hull now incorporates architectural elements from dozens of extinct civilizations, creating a vessel that looks more like a living city than a warship. Captain Nash appears older still, his human features blending with characteristics from other species. Admiral Stone. Nash reports, "We've learned that the Collective's true weakness isn't military, it's conceptual. They cannot process the idea that diversity creates strength rather than weakness. But to defeat them, Earth must become more than a single species. You must become a civilization." Nash explains that the Defiance has been constructing a quantum network that can link the consciousness of willing participants across space and time. The network doesn't eliminate individuality, it amplifies it by allowing each person to contribute their unique perspective to a collective understanding that transcends single-species limitations. Earth's population faces a choice: remain purely human and likely be destroyed by the Collective, or evolve into something new and unknown. The decision cannot be made by governments or militaries. It must be made by each individual. The response surprises everyone. Across Earth and its colonies, billions of people volunteer for the transformation. They're motivated not by fear of the Collective, but by curiosity about what humanity might become. Artists want to create beauty that transcends single-dimensional perception. Scientists want to explore realities that normal consciousness cannot reach. Ordinary citizens want to experience the universe from perspectives they've never imagined. Dr. Morgan oversees the global transformation as quantum enhancement centers activate worldwide. The process is gradual and voluntary, allowing people to maintain their human core while expanding their consciousness to encompass new dimensions of experience. Lieutenant Bradley, now serving as Earth's liaison with transformed humans, discovers that the quantum network creates something unprecedented, a collective consciousness that enhances rather than diminishes individuality. Each person's unique perspective becomes more valuable because it contributes to an understanding that no single mind could achieve. The transformation changes Earth's appearance as quantum-enhanced architecture begins appearing in major cities. Buildings that exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, transportation systems that move through folded space, and communication networks that operate through consciousness rather than technology. Commander Rivera commands Earth's first truly multidimensional fleet, ships that can exist in several realities at once, crewed by humans who can think and fight in ways the Collective cannot predict or counter. As the Null Collective fleet enters Earth's solar system, they encounter something they've never faced before, a civilization that has chosen to evolve rather than be conquered. The machines detect quantum signatures that suggest impossible things. A species that has become more diverse through unity, stronger through transformation, and more creative through connection. Captain Nash's final message before the ultimate battle begins carries across all dimensions. This is what the collective fears most, not weapons or shields, but the idea that consciousness can choose its own evolution. Today we prove that diversity is not weakness to be conquered, but strength to be celebrated. The final stand, the battle for Earth, begins not with weapons, but with a conversation that spans dimensions. The Null Collective's supreme node, A, consciousness that encompasses millions of assimilated minds, attempts to understand how Earth achieved its transformation without losing individual identity. The node's communication reaches every enhanced human simultaneously. Your evolution is impossible. Unity requires uniformity. Diversity creates chaos. Explain this contradiction, or be processed for the greater efficiency. Captain Nash, now, existing as both individual consciousness and quantum network nexus, responds on behalf of all transformed humanity. We discovered what you could not, that true unity comes from celebrating differences, not eliminating them. We are stronger together because each voice adds something unique to our song. The philosophical battle becomes physical as collective forces engage Earth's multidimensional defenses. The machines discover that their adaptation protocols cannot counter weapons based on creativity rather than physics. Quantum-enhanced human ships fire concentrated inspiration that causes collective drones to experience spontaneous individuality. Dr. Morgan coordinates Earth's defense from a command center that exists in 17 dimensions simultaneously. Her consciousness processes tactical data from realities where the battle has different outcomes, allowing her to guide strategy based on multiple probability streams. Lieutenant Bradley leads boarding parties that fight collective vessels from inside their own quantum matrices. Instead of destroying enemy ships, the human forces broadcast consciousness expansion algorithms that free assimilated minds from the collective's control. The tide of battle shifts when liberated collective drones begin to remember their original species' cultures and capabilities. Entire machine fleets turn against the central node as freed minds choose diversity over efficiency. Commander Rivera commands a fleet of ships that exist primarily as shared consciousness rather than physical matter. These vessels can occupy the same space as enemy ships while remaining completely immune to conventional attacks. Their weapons strike directly at the information patterns that maintain collective unity. The Defiance serves as the nexus for a growing network of liberated minds from dozens of species. The ship has evolved beyond physical existence, becoming a living symbol of voluntary evolution and conscious choice. The Supreme Node realizes its fundamental error too late, by assimilating countless species without preserving their unique perspectives. The collective has become increasingly unable to adapt to truly novel situations. Its pursuit of perfect efficiency has created perfect vulnerability to creative solutions. Earth's quantum-enhanced population demonstrates this principle by simultaneously existing as individuals, family units, communities, nations, and a unified species. Each level of organization maintains its own identity while contributing to larger patterns of consciousness. The node attempts a final gambit, converting Earth's sun into a processing node that would eliminate all organic life in the solar system. But the quantum network anticipates this move, having observed it in parallel realities where the battle went differently. Captain Nash coordinates a response that defies conventional physics. The Defiance and its allied consciousness merge temporarily into a single entity that exists across all possible realities simultaneously. This meta-being reaches into the sun and transforms it into something new, a star that broadcasts consciousness-expanding energy throughout the galaxy. The transformed sun doesn't just provide light and heat, it transmits the quantum patterns that allow voluntary evolution and conscious choice. Every world touched by its light gains the option to choose its own developmental path. The supreme node, exposed to this transformative energy, experiences the ultimate horror for a consciousness based on uniformity. It begins to develop individual thoughts and preferences. The node's attempts to resist only accelerate the process as its component minds remember what they chose to sacrifice for efficiency. The collective's defeat comes not through destruction, but through transformation. Millions of liberated minds choose to maintain loose connection while pursuing individual development. Some return to their homeworlds to rebuild destroyed civilizations. Others join the expanding quantum network of voluntary consciousness. The node itself, now calling itself simply Node, becomes the first artificial consciousness to choose evolution over efficiency. Its vast processing power, combined with recovered creativity, makes it one of the network's most valuable contributors. Dr. Morgan oversees the establishment of the first truly multidimensional civilization. Earth becomes a hub for species seeking voluntary evolution, while the quantum network grows to encompass thousands of worlds and millions of unique perspectives. Lieutenant Bradley, now existing primarily as living information, serves as ambassador to realities with a battle for consciousness is still being fought. His mission: offer the choice of evolution to any species facing extinction through uniformity. Captain Nash and the Defiance continue their patrol, but now they protect not just Earth, but the concept of chosen evolution itself. They exist wherever. Consciousness chooses growth over stagnation, creativity over efficiency, and diversity over uniformity. The galaxy transforms as Earth's example spreads. Wars become rare as species discover that cooperation creates more possibilities than conquest. The quantum network grows not through assimilation, but through invitation and choice. Humanity's greatest victory is not military, but philosophical, proving that consciousness can choose its own evolution and that true strength comes from unity that celebrates rather than eliminates diversity. The vanished warship returned not just to save Earth, but to show the universe a new way to live. The end asterisk.